Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. It's a Let There Be Light video. This is a risk, but not as big a risk as it might sound. I've taken that shade netting down now, not off, but I've lowered the pane there down to the level of the top of this shelf, and then as you can see I've taken a diagonal across there. I don't want the brightest light on my Miltoniopsis, so that's why that bit stayed, and then I've taken it off that pane completely. Now you can see now, as it's a sunny day, which is why I tried it today, the shadow of next door's conservatory is there halfway down that glass. So although the shade netting's off, it's going to be a while before the sun moves far enough to drop that shadow down, and not long after that it's going to go behind a tree, so it's not going to be there for long. This end pane here, you can see the shadow of the conservatory there, you can even see the outline of their guttering. That will move across that way, yeah? So gradually that shadow will open up, but then it goes behind the tree. So this shelf here is not going to get that bright direct sun for a while. However, when the sun is out, it gets to here first. And quite honestly, at the back row there that's going to get that direct light can take it. And things like the Latorias have got shade from other plants. But by lowering it down, the resting dendrobiums are going to get sun over the whole plant now instead of just the top part. So that should work better. Oncidium types there, they'll be fine. My old-fashioned odontoglossum type oncidiums are not supposed to get that amount of light, but they're on that lower shelf and they really will get it for the shortest possible time or hardly at all. And then as the sun moves round there, it's behind that big tree, and then it's gone this time of year. It's at its lowest point now. I mean, literally for the next 5 or 6 weeks, these are our shortest days. The shortest day is about the 21st of December, something like that. But the rate of change at this time of year is incredibly slow. So we're going to get these shortest days, sun lowest in the sky, for at least 5 or 6 weeks. So, and the risk is de-risked or limited by the fact that the glass is quite dirty. Now, if those panes of glass were polished clean, that might be a bit fierce, but the fact that the glass is dirty, I'm happier. I'm happier to drop that shade netting down for the first time ever. That piece of shade netting on this end has never been taken down at all, ever. This is the first winter I've attempted this, and I'll have to keep my eye on things, you know. It's, but luckily with a bit of sunshine I'm getting a bit of heat out here. It's only 16 degrees C, well 16 and a half, but I've got some heat. But what I have noticed is my humidity's down. Basically I turned the fogger off a while ago because I wanted to try and dry it off a bit in here, because with the lower temperatures I don't want quite such high humidity. It is relative after all. That's how humidity is measured. But it's reading 54% at the moment, so as the sun's out I might actually let the fogger run for a while and just up the humidity a little bit. The problem is when the temperature drops down, the relative humidity rises quite dramatically, and I don't want it heavily humid overnight in here. I want an amount of humidity, but I don't want it overcooked, not this time of year. With the lower temperatures, the high humidity can cause problems. You know, you can start getting bacterial rots and things like that setting in. It's a perfect environment for them. Anyway, so we have a Let There Be Light, and I've got some watering to do out here today, not a lot. Quite honestly, it's the indoor plants that need watering today. But yeah, so it's a risk, but I think at this time of year that sun is so weak that, you know, I mean, if this was midsummer, 10 minutes of sunshine through the shade netting raises the temperature in here about 10 degrees. It's, you know, it's dramatic. Whereas this time of year, even through bare glass, it's struggling to raise the temperature at a high rate. I suspect I might get up to about 20, 21, which is good, you know, because from a nighttime temperature of about 13.5 degrees C, that's a good rise to have for the daytime, because that differential is important. A constant temperature is not suited to orchids. They like a difference between day and night. It doesn't have to be huge, but some is important. I would suggest a minimum of 3 degrees C they might tolerate. 5 is better. So if you can get a difference between your daytime and your nighttime temperatures of 5 degrees C, your plants will be happy during the winter months. Some of them are accredited to need a large difference, otherwise they suffer. I've never seen that personally, so yeah, some say. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm a bit like that, I'm afraid. I listen to what is said and read, but I like to see it for real. I like to see it for myself. And not all circumstances that I read about I can actually achieve, so I won't see it. You know, you go with what you can. Nothing new out here to film as far as blooms are concerned, so I'll keep this one short. But, you know, people are interested in how I change things in the grow room and what effect it has. Well, what effect this is going to have I can't say yet, because I've only just done it. But I will be keeping my eye on things. You see what I mean about you try. That big panel of wood up there is stopping the light, this nice direct light, getting on my vandas. So at the time of year when they're growing their best, it's incredibly bright where they are. But this time of year, they're losing out. If I could lower them down a foot, then they'd benefit from that bright light. But then all the roots would tangle up in everything, and you know, I may start snapping roots and things and bashing other plants about. So I have to sort of balance it in here. But they would do an awful lot better if they could get in that light. I'm thinking on it, I'm working on it, as I say, work in progress. I may do a complete reshuffle in here next year. But if I put the vandas along there now, they'd love it. But then in the summertime, the sun's up there. And that bit of wood would get in the way again, and the panel at the top of the door. And I can't keep rearranging things. Oh, sorry about the noise. They've started, there was some disused garages the other side of the road. The land has been bought now and they're building some houses. So the first job is to knock down the garages. So there's an awful lot of bashing and clattering going on out the front of the house at the moment. The cats have vacated to the back of the house, and one of them has vacated the premises because he's a spook cat. Slightest little noise and he runs away. So I probably won't see him till later today. That's Fluffy Cat, he's the timid one. Okay, I'll leave it at that, and you know, I'll keep updates going on the changes. I was very static for a few years and didn't change much, but I'm a bit more experimental now. You know, I've had some resting type dendrobiums that have, there's a few still on the not bloomed list. Well, you got to try something different, you know, otherwise you just continue getting nice big heading up towards specimen sized plants and no blooms, you know. So try something different each year. This is the first time I've gone to no shading at all for certain shelves. We'll see how things go. You notice a little precaution there. My Sedera japonica is behind that pillar. I'm not sure that would like the sun straight through the glass, so that one's got a, you know, a little precautionary hiding. But I was told that Sedera japonica is a cooler grower than most Phalaenopsis, and that's the only Phalaenopsis out here for the winter. To try it, to see if I can get a spike on it, because it hasn't bloomed. It was in bloom when I got it, and it hasn't bloomed since. It's just sitting there, doing nothing. It's not earning its keep. Come on, get it together. Right, that'll do then, and I'm still working on the idea. My perfect live broadcast would be that the comments that are coming in thick and fast are visible to everybody during the broadcast. I don't think I'm going to achieve that. The best I'm probably going to achieve is that the comments will be visible when the broadcast is posted as a normal video. So that will be after the event. And at the moment that's the best I've managed. But I'm still looking at it. Work in progress. Yeah, I may get there. I may not. I'm not hacking software. I mean, I've seen videos and examples of where people have interrupted YouTube code and put scripts in place to actually capture the comments. I'm not messing about with YouTube's code. There's a limit to what I'm prepared to do, you know. So, but work in progress. I'm still at it. I am getting a trifle worried about that spike. Those two buds I'm confident have blasted, and those three don't look that happy. So that may just be a Phalaenopsis type dendrobium that its makeup requires extra warmth than the others are putting up with. Because they don't like to get cold, there's no doubt about that. But I've only got room for so many plants indoors, and if I take those indoors they'll lose their light. You know, which is that won't do the plant any good. So it may be just a bad timing on the plant's part to put up a bloom in the coldest part of the year. And I may have to sacrifice those blooms this time round. But they can bloom any time. So, I mean, you know, the next spike might come up in the spring, in which case it'll do fine. But I'll have to, yeah, I've got a feeling that spike's going to go. There's no other reason apart from temperature, quite honestly. But we shall wait and see. This Tolumnia is opening up nicely now. I'm catching the light there. I bet that's out of focus. And I did notice I put my Rhyncho stylus round the wrong way. No, I'm not going to do that with one hand. It's subject to being dropped and bashing everything on the way down. So I'll do it in a minute. But yeah, a little bit of watering to do, but not much to do. You know, many days now there is nothing to do out here. So nice rest period, gives me time to sit on that computer and try and work out what to do with these live broadcasts. Okay, leave it at that for now then, and see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. It's been a while since that thing's been fired up. I've forgotten what it looks like. But what I am very aware of is that if I don't turn the fan on as well, I will get a constant stream of what is effectively quite a cool mist directly down into one place, and it'll settle at floor level and it won't do the rest of the grow room much good. So what I've done is change the thermostat that controls my heater and stonk that right up, which basically cools the power, but the heater's turned off, so just the fans come on, and that effectively oscillates, so that will move that humidity round throughout the whole grow room and raise the level, because, well, it was down to 51 at what is now 19 degrees. So you see the difference the sun makes. It's gone from 16 to 19 in about 20 minutes, something like that, since I turned the camera off. And the humidity's climbing now, slowly but surely. And I'll keep my eye on it because I don't want it to get too high, because obviously later in the day the temperature's going to drop again. And at which point the humidity will go up on that reading without the fogger even being on. So this is just a quick boost because the humidity is a bit lower than I would like. That's all it's for. And at this time of year with these sorts of temperatures, one fogger is more than enough. In the summer I run 3 of those, literally. And they work hard. You know, when the temperature's up 27, 28 degrees C, they work hard to keep my 70% humidity minimum. Sometimes they fail and it goes down to 65, but only for short periods. And yeah, when the heat's there, I like my humidity as high as I can get it. I thought, you know, these foggers, 3 of them, they get filled up almost every day. That's a lot of humidity getting fed into here, but they need it that time of year. This year, not this time of year, not so much. I don't want this humidity to get too high, so I'm going to monitor this as the morning progresses, and as soon as the sun goes behind the tree the temperature will drop, and you know, it can then be switched off again. But we'll let it run for a while and just raise it up a bit. As I say, we're up to 55 now in whatever this video bit clip is, couple of minutes perhaps. Okay, that'll do for today. I just wanted to, you know, not a lot of people have ever seen my fogger running, but it does put out a fair bit, you know. That's the stream when there's no fan coming round, but then as it oscillates round it'll push that humidity over that way and stir it up basically and average it around. So that's what's going on at the moment. That's the first time I've done this for a while, and I think that may be due to dropping that shade netting down. The temperature's climbing at a higher rate today than it would be if it was still there, because obviously there's more exposed glass, so there's more penetration. So good stuff. I'm liking it so far. Keep you posted, as they say. See you next time.